Yeah, we had a brief conversation, obviously, and spoke a little bit about Norwich game coming up, but yeah, there's no confirmation of any games he will be attending, but yeah, you never know.
Welcome back to the podcast, Ipswich Town FC Women manager Joe Sheehan. Happy new season, Joe. Thank you for speaking with us. How are things? Nice and busy, I assume, right now?
Yeah, no, good to see you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, we're in the thick of it now, having got through pre-season and had our opening league game. So yeah, it's a really exciting period. Obviously, it's the start of the season. There's so much to look forward to, and yeah, we're working really hard to try and get off to a really good start.
Yeah, we'll talk about Oxford in a bit, because that was a real statement victory, that one. But just a little bit of recap. Obviously, last season, a bit frustrated perhaps with how things ended, but some real highlights in that season, some real learning that's gone into this season, I'm sure. Can you give us we haven't spoken since the Chatham game. What a great experience that must have been for you and the team. Give us your kind of memories of that game.
Yeah, it was an incredible occasion. I think last season was probably the first season in a really long time where we haven't put ourselves in a position going into the final day to compete for something, which was disappointing. However, the experience of playing Chatham at Portman Road was a really shining light on the season, and to get so many supporters come and watch us, for our players to play at such a historic venue that's hosted so many incredible moments, games, teams over the many, many years, was an absolute honour for us. And yeah, it couldn't have gone any better, to be honest. It was a great day. It was a great occasion, and it's one we'll cherish and remember and hold high in our, like I said, our memories for a very, very long time.
And you kind of mentioned maybe falling away from kind of what we were hoping to achieve from the league season, at least. But it was great to see the numbers at the AGL, as it was then, start to increase towards the end of the season as well. And really 800,000 odd gates, I think there were, for a few games towards the end of the season. That must be really encouraging for the future of the club as well, right? Yeah,
we've gradually grown for some time now. And I remember, I think we played Norwich on a Wednesday night in front of about 670 or 760. And I remember thinking then, like, wow, this feels like a proper game. And we've managed to hit numbers like that regularly. So that was quite promising, again, particularly towards the end of the season. And we started to pick up a bit of form towards the end. So yeah, numbers have grown to a really good number. It's something we're always looking to kind of stretch and improve, and not just supporters that come and watch us, but also just gain more traction with people that are just interested and may not be able to come and watch us every Sunday, but still are really interested in what we're doing. And support us from further afield if necessary.
Yeah, it's whenever I speak to you, and something that's close to my heart, obviously, getting people through the door at Felixstowe is not only kind of important in terms of just getting behind the girls, but it makes a real difference, doesn't it? It's quite a compact ground. It's not like Portman Road where it's quite massive and vast, isn't it? And sometimes the acoustics aren't the best, but at Felixstowe, you're really part of it. And of course, we welcome people who just want to watch great football, but actually being part of the experience and contributing is definitely possible for fans who go to Felixstowe, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I think we're getting to a stage where Felixstowe is a really tight and a really sort of really great ground to perform at and to coach at and to watch games at. And we're at a stage where we're starting to sort of occupy all four sort of sides of it. Sort of 1-2 row deep at times down the sides, and that makes it really exciting. And it's a really good facility that is really hospitable, with some great people that work there. Obviously, the sweet shop is an added bonus for children, and it serves us really well. And you can even see over the years how many improvements have taken place, from changing areas to even the pitch quality, and most notably the stands in more recent times. So yeah, it's a really enjoyable place to play at. It can generate a really good atmosphere on its day. and it'll be an important ground for us this season to try and make a fortress.
So coming out of last season, I guess there was a little frustration perhaps, or it was really obvious that you maybe didn't have the strength and depth to have options to call upon to maybe push us up towards the top of the division. That seems to have certainly been addressed this summer with 6 permanent deals, 1 dual registration coming in. That must give you a real hope and an opportunity and different options as well to really challenge the league this time around.
Yeah, we felt it was an important thing to do this time around, and over the course of the close season going into pre-season, we'd identified some players that we felt we really needed. For so long, we've developed so many young players locally and tried to develop them into our senior team, and over time, some have moved on. We've brought then younger ones back in again, and we felt that cycle had served us really well, but we still didn't have enough depth maybe of players that had the right experiences to challenge and try and get out of the division. And I think we've recruited players that are still of a young, exciting age, but I think using Ella Rutherford and Andrew Addison as 2 great examples, 24, both played in the top division, both played international football through youth age groups, and bring some really good experiences that are going to be important for us. And that's well backed up by Charlotte Fleming, who's 22, but again has come through Chelsea's ranks, has played for Leicester, has played for Watford, has played for London City in the Championship, and again brings some really good leadership, is a really good communicator. Grace Garrard, very similar, played in the Championship last season, has featured for West Ham a year prior to that. And both Natalia Negri and Shauna had been part of Crystal Palace's title-winning team last season out of the Championship. And I think I don't think I've missed anyone, have I? But those core group have been really important sort of players to get in, really. And yeah, adding Izzy Fisher on a dual reg from Arsenal is another young one, but again a player that's really well thought of and it's got a lot of potential. And we've really loved having her in with us since the start of pre-season. So yeah, it's I think it's a really solid group now, and despite us picking up some minor injuries over the course of pre-season, I think Sunday's performance showed that even without both Maria and Kyra, obviously EK still coming back into the fold, without Grace as well, we were still a really strong team going into that game. And yeah, the depth is probably the biggest thing that we've needed to improve on, and I'm really pleased that we've been able to add that depth going into this season.
Is it fair to say that Physicality might have been on the shopping list as well? It's from the sidelines, it felt sometimes, particularly Oxford, for example, last season, where sometimes that young group maybe not used to the rough and tumble maybe of third tier football, and teams like Oxford, we've seen it amongst the division liked to bully us. Was that something you were looking to address as well?
Yeah, it's a really interesting point. I mean, I think having seen a lot of our group, I think they're a really competitive group. I think we can be quite a physical team on our day. I think where we probably fell short last season was that because we didn't have the depth, we're almost relying on the same group to meet the demand every single week. And maybe we didn't compete as best as we can because of that, not because we're less athletic or we're less physical or we're less competitive. So yeah, I always often think that when you play for our football club that has got such a great reputation, that wants to do some and achieve some really good things, the young players feel that expectation at times, and when you can only put the same sort of 11, 12 out every single week, I think they start to feel the effects of that, especially if you're not picking up results. And sometimes it's really healthy to just chop 1 or 2 out, give them a bit of a reset and a bit of a rest, and put 2 in that can go in and attack it. And we didn't really have that luxury. So yeah, I think we can be a really physical, competitive team. I think we showed that on Sunday, with largely the same sort of players that were with us last year. But yeah, I think we've now got players that, carry a little bit more oomph, should you say, and are going to really help us in our quest. And, if we need to sort of change some players for whatever reason, then, we've got players going to be chomping at the bit to come back in and continue our, hopefully, really good form that's going to be really consistent.
Blue Monday is proudly brought to you in partnership with our friends at Atwell Solicitors, your ideal legal partner for work on property or business law. Their client care has repeatedly been recognised as outstanding, and they are people-focused with a plain English approach which sets them apart. They have offices in Ipswich, Colchester and London, and to find out more, head to atwells.com.
We've talked before about the DNA of the club is bringing through young players, and you talked about the average age. This is now a team. You saw it with the kind of backline on Sunday. Still got the likes of Summer, Evie as well, and Leah, still really quite young, but now have kind of 40, 50 games perhaps under their belt. So I guess the other point to your kind of the other side of the answer is experience helps with physicality as well, playing the right things, keeping calm under pressure. That comes through experience as well, and that's a benefit we have too.
Yeah, and that's where, we didn't achieve what we wanted to achieve last season, but the players that we have got would have really benefited from that experience, and that's going to serve them and us really well in this campaign. And I think those players then seeing what we have added gives them an extra bit of confidence, knowing that we've got some players that have been there, done it, that are just as keen as us, are really good players, players that we can rely on, that can lean on, can call upon for some advice. And we've now got just a really nice blend of squad players that are all pulling in the same direction.
Yeah, that team spirit was really vital last season, wasn't it? And I wondered how much of the the ethos of the wider club about running towards adversity, that's presumably still really front and centre when you're bringing players in as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And yeah, like we say, we have got high ambitions. The club has been doing so many good things in recent years that, from our perspective, it carries a bit of weight, and everybody wants to beat us. We bring out the best in everybody, and sometimes, you feel like you're battling against the best version of everybody, and, you face a little bit of adversity with decisions and weather and all sorts, and we have to embrace that. We have to stand up to it, and we have to give our best version to ensure that we give ourselves every possibility of playing well and winning games of football. And if we can do that regularly, then I think the end finish line will taste so much more sweeter.
Yeah, it'll be enjoyable to not see away teams celebrate their point like they've won the league at our place, and hopefully turn them over this season. Let's bring things up to date with this season. Then you've mentioned the Oxford game, a team that we've had a few face-offs with over the last few seasons, maybe not necessarily gone our way, but to start the season with that victory, clean sheet away from home, a place where I don't think we've won a game. I don't think the men's team have won a game there at Oxford. It's got to come Ipswich Town hoodoo about it, but you must be so proud of that result and the performance. Yeah,
I was incredibly proud, and obviously we're drawn to play them away on the first game. You can look at it a bit of how have we drawn them, but you can embrace it and look forward to it, and we did embrace and look forward to it. We know it's not an easy place to pick up points at. I think only hashtag have won there in competitively in the last sort of 3 years. So we're only the second team to win there in 3 or 3.5 years, whatever it is. So yeah, really tough place. They've also strengthened and improved what they do, and we knew we were going to be a little bit light on the numbers. So yeah, to perform like that was incredibly pleasing. And we'd had a really good pre-season where we've had a variety of different teams we've played, but we hadn't really shown our best self. So to go into that game and perform like that, I think was really special, and I think we got exactly what we deserved. I think we allowed Oxford really to sort of find their best self, because I think we worked so hard and we played reasonably well. So yeah, really positive start, but it is just a start. That's all it is. So yeah, we're really pleased to win the game and pick up 3 points. But when we came back in yesterday, it was all eyes on this Sunday, and it was only one game, it was only one win. It doesn't really mean anything at this stage. We're never going to win or lose the division on Sunday at Oxford. So yeah, it's a good start, but it's just a start, and now we're really looking forward to our next challenge ahead. What's your sense on the strength of the league as a whole? There were some surprising results in the opening day. I think maybe hashtag beating Watford was a surprise, newly relegated Watford, but even newly promoted Exeter winning 7-0. Have you got a sense of the level? Is it stronger or weaker than last season, or is it still too early days? Yeah, I think it's really difficult. Obviously, at Watford and Lewis came down, but Watford have kept some of their really good players, and they've recruited some as well. And Lewis have added a bit of strength, but have also lost some players. MK Dons, I think, will be in a bit of a transition year, having lost considerably number of players. But yeah, Exeter have come up and have obviously got a little bit of momentum behind them, as I'm sure AFC Wimbledon have. So yeah, we're not really sure what each team's going to bring at this stage. But yeah, what we do know is that we're gonna be really well prepared for every game we play. We're gonna pour everything into it and ensure that we give ourselves every possibility of overcoming all the challenges that we face, whether it Oxford, Watford, Exeter, Plymouth. We're really going to get after every single game and take it one at a time, and we'll see where we end up at the end of the season.
Before we talk about hashtag, which is coming up on Sunday, I do have to ask you about the determining round of the League Cup. Pitched this against Norwich at Carrow Road. Must be excited about that one. Yeah,
we've not spent too much time thinking about it. Obviously, we had the Oxford game to prepare for, and we've now reflected on. We've obviously got hashtag to prepare for. There's work behind the scenes planning for both Norwich and Exeter, but yeah, for us immediately, and certainly the players, it's all eyes on hashtag. But yeah, when that comes around off the back of the game this Sunday, then yeah, it'd be all focus on to Norwich, and it'd be a really big week for us. A 3-game week. Travel to Norwich Thursday, but then travel to Exeter Saturday, and it's be a really shorter turnaround, and obviously a bit of a travel there as well. So yeah, we're excited to play those 3 games. We're excited to meet the demand of all 3 and perform as best as we can, and recover really well, prepare really well, and try and perform as best as we can.
Yeah, that's quite a fearsome trio when you say it, isn't it? And not something we're massively used to in the women's game of having Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, as it were. That's quite a turnaround, isn't it? So interesting to see how the team copes with that. But hashtag, as you say, is the kind of next priority on Sunday. Hoping for a big gate, and folk can get their tickets on the ITFC website as they can for the men's team as well. So do that and pay on the day as well, I think, as well. But talk to us about hashtag. Obviously, came up last season, equipped themselves really well in the division. We had some really tight games with them, didn't we, as well? What's your impression of them?
Just a really tricky team. Really good at what they do, really front foot, really aggressive. I think heavy metal football, I think, have been renowned for sort of playing, and I think you can certainly see that. And they're really effective at it. And again, to beat Watford last Sunday was a really good result for them. And they'll be really keen to back that up. So yeah, it's another really tricky physical affair. But one, yeah, we're really excited for. I think it'll be a really good game. 2 teams obviously got off to a good start that will now go head to head this Sunday, and yeah, we'll be ready for it, and we're really excited for it.
And the players must be really excited to play in front of a kind of a packed Martello ground. I keep getting it wrong, the Martello Arena or ground or whatever it is. Obviously, we had the London City friendly, didn't we? But playing in front of an energised Martello ground, Delwood Avenue, is going to be a different experience for them, and hopefully one that raises the performance levels as well.
Yeah, I hope so. And getting big crowds at home is going to be, I think, really important for us, because I think we performed so well at Oxford because there was just a general feeling of it being such a big game. And I think that we'll play teams that maybe won't have as big a name or as big as a history at this level as Oxford in terms of going undefeated at home. That I think when we have big numbers at home, I think it makes it feel like it's just as big. So yeah, getting supporters, generating an atmosphere at home is going to be really important, because it will just make sure it keeps us on our toes, knowing that we've got a big crowd to perform for, and regardless of who we're playing or what their history is at this level, it's going to be a big, and it's going to be an important game, and hopefully we'll thrive off that atmosphere.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Now you're best mates with Ed Sheeran. Can we expect to see him at the Felixs anytime soon?
Yeah, we had a brief conversation, obviously, and spoke a little bit about Norwich game coming up, but yeah, there's no confirmation of any games he will be attending, but yeah, you never know.
Great to have his support though, and he's obviously the shirt sponsor for the men's and the women's team, which must bring in, again, a little bit of pride and the sense again of one big club rather than different teams and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and yeah, it was great to spend 5-6 minutes with him, having a conversation about the men and the women, and he got to meet some of the players shortly after that as well, passing by, and they were excited to have met him and shook his hand and said and introduced themselves. And yeah, he's a great supporter of the football club, as we know, and sponsors our shirt like he does with the men on the front, and his support's huge. It's really important. Obviously, he's local, and you never know. Hopefully, there might be an occasion when we do see him pop up, coming to watch us.
Fingers crossed. Well, then with you and the team, Joe, thank you for chatting with us. As always, really appreciate your insights, and we're really excited to see what the season holds. We'll be behind you. I'm sure lots of fans will be getting to Felixstowe to support you as well. So we wish you all the best. Certainly wish you all the best for Thursday. We'll be there and we'll be cheering you on in enemy territory. But big season coming up, big game on Sunday. Go and support the team, get behind them. But Joe, all the best, and thanks again for speaking to us.
Thank you very much.